All right, problem 57, we're taking a look at a polynomial, a quadratic it is, in standard form when we are given certain x-intercepts. So the first thing we need to think about is if I have an x-intercept at 3/4 and another one at -2, what are my factors that gave me those as my x-intercepts? So if I have one at -2, the factor would have been x plus 2. And if I have one at 3/4, there's a couple different things we could think of. We could just say it is x minus 3/4. But another thing we could also do is, and I'm going to go back to this last example, if we do zero product property with that, I'm going to do x plus 2 equals 0, and I subtract 2 from both sides. And when I solve that, I get -2. That's why it works there. So if I do that process in reverse here, starting from this with the 3/4, so I have x equals 3/4. First thing I need to do is multiply both sides by 4 to make my giant one. Now I have 4x equals 3. And to solve that, I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So I'm going to get 4x minus 3. So this factor that gave me 3/4 as my root, or my x-intercept, the factor could be 4x minus 3 as well. Once I know my two factors, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through and use a generic rectangle. So now I have 4x minus 3 and x plus 2, and fill in the spaces here. Combine my like terms. So my standard form of a quadratic for part A is going to be 4x squared plus 5x minus 6. So that is one possibility. For problem B, I'm going to do something very similar. So again, I have, if I think of a graph, positive square root of 5 and negative square root of 5, which means that x equals plus or minus the square root of 5. Well, if I want to solve that, I'm going to square both sides. So now I have x squared equals 5. And I'm going to subtract that 5 from both sides. And I get x squared minus 5 equals 0. And that is now going to be my equation. Y equals x squared minus 5 for problem B.